right, that's working. I think. I use my AirPods so much, I think they're deteriorating. Okay, so jumping in. Sort of fun. This illustration ended up being well received on Reddit. At the rate it's going, it may. Right now, it's close to 1,000 upvotes, and it's something like 50 shares. That's really. It feels really good. It's one thing to like something, but also be like, hey, check this out. That's interesting. I would have been happy with 1/10 of that. So pretty surprised and grateful that it's well received. And from what I can tell, this one might be well received too when it's all finished. And it even looks all finished. So, just looking at it right now. Okay, one thing I'm going to change possibly is the, I might have to redraw the fairy or invert the tone so that it's essentially glowing edges. Not so much line art. We'll see. But what I did on the, see whether good or bad, I've established a precedent here. So this is the difference now. You know, this fairy is a fairy. So now this other fairy needs to fall in line and be consistent. And right here, she's still like Cartoon Land fairy. So, something to be done. If that's all I do, that's great. Okay, so today, right now, we're going to start on this. So let's do it. This is going to be a short stream. Probably my shortest deliberate stream. Yesterday was a day of doing many things. Okay, that's the original sketch, which I love. I wonder, can I just put this over that? Does that work? Is there some composite method that'll make that work? Would that be fun? Didn't have to do anything at all. Oh, cool. That kind of did it. I have to remember that one. Alrighty. That's the rough sketch. Here's the color flat master. There's some shadow layers that are going to remain off unless we need them. some design shading layers, some occlusion. Okay, looks to be in good order. Well, let's try and do something. Because it doesn't have to be much, just to get a start. My dirty glasses. So one thing that's cool that I'm just looking at now is the very few layers. Like, it's a simple composition. There's not a lot actually happening here. It's not complex in that some things are above things, but also below them. It's extremely straightforward. I guess one thing I need to do is choose. Pardon me, I slept too much this morning. What will the color of this magic be? And I'm a fan of making this a little spooky and doing things a little different than how we've been doing it, and ironically making them a little easier. So what if we assume that the magic light was green? Right, that's kind of appropriate for Halloween. Because if we do that, that kind of sets us up for something cool. Because I think the color green will work well in this scene. Bring this over here. Okay, I'm going to turn off these social banners. Bye-bye. Okay. So here's something cool. As we know, we've all been paying attention to how I use these sliders to add light. Well, here's something cool. The green slider has its own slide. And it can get very bright. So whereas when we add like orange light, we had to add red and green in different proportions in order to keep it consistent. That was challenging to keep that consistency. A green light might be different. So let's give that a shot. Some challenges, though, are how bright I'm apparently going to make this. Now, will I make it as bright as this image? I don't know. But this does look good, so maybe. Let's make it this much brighter overall. And then let's call it twice as much green. Just to start and see what that gets us. What if we just focus on the big picture for now? Maybe even go back to trusty tapered detail air. Pretty versatile. There can even be sort of two kinds of light. There could be the magic that is... Because what if it was green magic that was helping him float and hover around? Because these wizards do two things. They hover and teleport, and then they shoot magic bolts, essentially. Okay, so that's cool. Too big, but I like seeing... Oh, you guys can't see it. Tuck it down here. Yeah, it's interesting where I picked to put the shadows. And it looks good here, so should I keep that? That sounds about right. Like, why redo all the good work I already did, right? I'm not sure if it made total sense to do what I did when I did it, but... Interesting. Let's sort of solve this as we go. like the idea of insinuating a form. Beneath it, but also suggesting it's like ghostly. Thinking of it as sculptural. Though it's not easy. Even up here, this would catch some of that light. It's hard honoring what was working. The original sketch and preserving that for the new color version. Now I'm using the original purple robe color to pull it back a little bit. Needs a lot of that help. Okay, that's a decent start. And I think these portions underneath where we actually see the edge of the inner edge, where this would normally be occluded in shadow. What if we're seeing like the most magic there? Not the most, but the most that we would see on the cloth, except for like in some places where it might sort of bleed into kind of If it felt like there was an essence underneath the cloth that was not wholly like the form that we saw in the exposed bits of flesh. Like we see something hooded, resembles a man, has arms here, but the rest we can given license to do whatever we want in our imagination. There could be anything under there. I don't know, just messing around, but at the angles where the cloth would be the thinnest, we might see the most amount of light bleeding through. We have to attend to this because we don't have the latitude to use, like in the previous compositions, like we want to make something look cool and spooky. It was just a matter of adding sufficient specular highlights to the sweat and the drool and the blood. It's not quite the same when our figure is covered in cloth. And also, I don't want to use, unless I have to, at least not on this image, I don't want to use a bunch of pixie dust to convey that magical essence. I think we can justifiably assume that there'd be a rim of light, at least on these ones where we can see that edge. Maybe not over here. in the pose, it won't do to make it perfectly. We're not searching for the perfectly logical solution. If the logical solution forces us into a pose that feels stable and it's like this is a magical wizard that is sort of conjuring up by pure force of evil will. And what it does and what it looks like should be uncanny. It doesn't need to be its own logical system as far as we, host to arcane knowledge and forbidden secrets. If we do that, what happens? That's kind of cool. Striated effects might help us as well, because the broad strokes might do one thing, but then we can pull one lever and then another shuts off. Ultimately, we need this guy looking like he's floating. So the perspective, the pose, and then the rush and the design of the drapery is all meant to support that. And I'm not sure, like, I just started adding these kinds of glowing lines to the underneath and in between of the contours. But they have an interesting effect, so might be good. Light can come from all over. It's feeling pretty cool. Let me do more. I really like doing the iterative saving. Yeah, let's not jump too far ahead. Let's do a little bit of maybe even here. Some of that green glow, right, could bounce up and hit. It's not emanating from it, but it can still catch some of it, right? Maybe a little. It'll be important to strike the balance. What I don't want is for this to look like a river of slime. These two. Make it intentional. That's always the secret. Don't straddle. If two things are looking close, like they might be related, then make them related. Even merge them if you can. It's feeling decent. Not too much, but some green here. Maybe even up here. And we got too much going on here now. Knock that back. Yeah, it looks like even here. According to this, there might even be some green light hitting back here. My calculations are correct. Still feeling all those little folds. So today I am booked on a potentially very challenging project. Sort of interesting. Haven't had a challenge in a while. Director who has gone out on the limb to recommend me to a new client, which I really appreciate. Clients these days are in short supply, not necessarily at least clients that are having projects that are right in my specialty. Unfortunately, my specialty is the really hard ones. That's okay. That's what I want. I don't want the easy ones. Well, I'll take them all, but just want the easy ones. I want the... That's me. I like to be Rambo with a pencil. Send me in solo. I'm like the Doom guy of illustration. It's getting to be about time. Very happy with how this got started, so that's good. Let me see if I can do a little bit more color picking, because we have the flesh and we have his staff that still need to get colored. Okay. Just always going by kind of an instinct. Now, this part of the design, the skin, we can absolutely get in there with specular highlights and make it gooey and gross. Within reason, wherever the light is touching. Underside of the nose catching light, so crucial. Underside of the brow ridge, underside of the lower lid, underside of the cheekbone can all catch a little light. You get light, you get light. And again, what we're putting down is not... It's not a life sentence. We can change it later. This process is one I enjoy. It's one I enjoy because it is very forgiving. Once we go down, once we make the big decisions here, already decided. Oh, I can tell my children are awake, so it's time to finish. Really quick, let's do one for the color of this staff, and then we'll be done. Then adding more light. So it's catching this green light. But then remember that so much light is also going to come from the electricity, especially the light that's going to affect the staff and the top of his body. That's not really represented here, but there will be an effect of it. So we'll see. All right, but that feels like a good start. Okay, let's do a quick little thumbnail. Oh, shit. Come on, let me out. Fuck. Okay. My cursor, my mouse cursor gets trapped over here. Oh, shit. There we go. Okay, got it back. That's weird. I don't like that. Let's give it a... Give it a... One of these. All right, these are all fun. All right, that'll be it. I'm out of here. Adios.